Welcome back to Tokyo Xtreme Racer. Today we are going to start by equipping the skill that I got the last time. I made such a big deal about getting it unlocked, but I didn't bother with even equipping it. Not that I think that it would have actually done anything with the last episode. I need to be out on the road for quite a while, and that's only going to be viable once I get more of the overall network unlocked. But I think we might be able to get that done today, so yeah, here we go. Back into the menu, trying to get a few more things here. So right now I think it's more on the outer line than on the inner one, so let's go there and try to get a few more wins. Should be able to get that progress today, and with the next one I have a few other things to talk about. But even now, today there are a few other things that I would like to get into, like the whole menu situation. And it really is a situation because right now the menus are really not great. First up we have that moving cursor thing, which really is only appropriate in this menu, but everywhere else you should really have buttons that you can just go up and down between, just like in any regular controller-based game. Of course, when you are using the mouse, then it should be switching to the mouse, so you can just go and click wherever you want. But for controllers, this is really a bad situation. But even without that problem, I feel like the game has something else going on with the menus which is not amazing right now. And that is the amount of clicks that you need to do in order to perform any one action. It's all a bit convoluted from what it really could be. I'll get into a few specific examples a bit later today if I remember. There are a few things that are kinda minor, but they are in so many places that it definitely adds up. So just trying to focus a bit on the battle right now, but we are looking pretty good here. Also, we are coming up into the most technical section of expressway, even having some things to run into in the middle. Yeah, slightly escaping here, but that's really not much of a problem. Could also talk a bit about the sound design at this point. Honestly, collisions, they sound a bit weird. No real scratching noises, and it's all just pock, pock. It's just kinda not really what I think it should sound. Also, fun little fact, the traffic cars are actually kinda responsive to the player. So if I brake check this guy, he's going to stop. The thing is, for some reason, the engine sounds on the traffic cars, that's just a static noise, so if I go back to him, sounds like he is running it in neutral and just high revving it. So for some reason they are not getting the full sound range depending on how fast they are going, and that's just a bit odd. I don't know how it works once they start a battle. I think at that point they have functional engine sound with rev range and all of that. By the way, I should be going back to the garage here because I have no other guy ahead of me. So let's go back in. But yeah, what I can show you guys in terms of the menus. Some of the buttons are giving me shortcuts, which is nice, but it doesn't always work. And where was it? Bring up this menu. This is very important. just having all the options here. In the old game it was just permanently stuck to the bottom of your screen and you could just go through all of the different things right here. And that worked out pretty well. Right now it being the overlay that has to be brought up to get to the other different menus in the game. Bit more convoluted. But yeah, when it comes to the whole needing to click on stuff more often than I would like to, I think for the vinyl system there is a really good example here. And it's actually when you have something equipped already. Let's just put on anything right now. I just need to have something pre-installed. It's now in the list over here. If I want to edit this layer, I need to go into the top left here, go on re-edit, and then all it's going to do is allow me to get back in here and select it again. Now I can do with this whatever I want, move it around, scale it up, whatever, that's all cool. But my question is, why is this a thing to begin with? It might as easily be just have the add new button somewhere over here on the right. Make it something that you can access by pressing Y and that's it. Having to go to this button to edit something that you already got is just a really unnecessary step. Doesn't really do much at all. And the menus have a lot of this kind of thing going on where you have to do an extra step for no real apparent reason. It might as well be designed a bit differently and then you wouldn't have that at all. And the same is kind of true for this thing right now. It has already selected the last point where I got onto the route. And if I want to get onto the route again, maybe if I want to go on here, if I press X to hit the departure button, it's now actually sending me back onto this one. If I want to go onto this entry point, I first need to mark it, then I need to press it again, and then I need to confirm that I want to go on there. So 3 button presses to get onto there. Get started with a racing session, it's a bit inconvenient. And the worst thing, and I should have really tried to position myself a tiny bit differently there. When I'm in the menu to confirm, I can do so with the A button and B will bring me directly back to the menu beforehand, which is nice. But I also got this little weird ring cursor going on, and if it happens to be on the... You know what, I'm just going to go back into the menu to show you guys. Because that's kinda hilarious. And I'm now kicking myself because I wish I would have gotten to that beforehand. So if I press it like this, I need to go on this. Now basically, I bring up this menu, but I'm still basically on the cancel button here, and if I now press A, instead of confirming, it's cancelling it. So, yeah. Bit inconsistent, bit annoying. Happens more often than you would think. Trust me, I've been there. So yeah, the menus definitely need some work, and I wish they would have just gotten that right from the get-go, because it's kind of annoying as it is right now. Also, while they have a message asking for feedback, I haven't seen anywhere where they would tell me how to give them feedback. I guess through the Steam forums, and maybe I have to go there. I don't like the forums. I much prefer Discord forums for that kind of thing, or Discord servers in general, depending on how they are structured. But yeah, they didn't really give a location for any address for where to submit the feedback. Small oversight, but I would really like to know how to properly reach out. But yeah, these are all minor things at the end of the day. But if you play the game for 10 or 20 hours, and let's be clear, this is a long game to play through if you want to complete it. It would be nice if some of the kinks were ironed out a little bit. Also, another thing I would like to talk about today is just the experience of going onto the map and then entering into the actual free roam driving to begin with. It was done a bit differently in Zero. Back in the day, on the preview map, you wouldn't see any opponents, but if you got onto any of the loops in any of the locations, you would then see them on the map, and the map would make sure that if there's even just a single guy on your on the same route that you just entered, that you haven't beaten yet, that guy would be right in front of you. So there isn't a long drive until you get there, there isn't going to be any longer waiting time there, but with this game, they've done it differently. Feels more natural as they have done this, because the other one was a bit artificial, but it also made sure that you wouldn't just end up roaming around for too long. Especially once you get to the last few guys on a particular run, especially on one of the later routes that don't have too many on-ramps to begin with. You might find yourself spending multiple minutes to even getting to an opponent. So, as it does right now, it sounds like a small thing, but I find that it really slows down the gameplay quite significantly. So yeah, I just wanted to mention it. What I like about what they've done over here when it comes to the actual map markers, I mean, they have this whole color system. Yellow guys are ones that you battled before but haven't beaten. Blue ones are ones that you didn't encounter, and the green ones you are basically done with. They now also changed the shape of guys more significantly. So it's really easy to tell which guy is a boss, which one is a wanderer, which we'll encounter later down the line, and which one is just a regular team member. So this is actually really easy to read. I think there were some differences in Zero as well, but they were far less pronounced, so they've done a good job designing that part of the UI. One thing I'm missing, however, right now is the mileage meter. I know the game tracks how many miles you've done with any car or in total, but there used to be mileage meters for the overall trip length and how much you've done with any particular vehicle in total, and it used to be on this UI. Just somewhere around the speed meter as well. And I'm kinda missing that. Especially now that we have the long run bonus, it would be really nice to know how far along that part you are. I actually need to look up what the long run bonus is to begin with, because the game tells you that you are getting plus 20% with that one perk on top of what you had already. But it doesn't really tell you what it is to begin with, so you don't even know if it's a good deal or not. Okay, trying to beat the second team leader here, but that guy apparently is a bit less easy to shake off. Ah, there we go. right into the wall. So we are almost done with this part as well. I don't know if there's another team going around here. I don't think so for the time being. Or maybe also shift up. That might help. But yeah, unless I'm doing something really stupid right now, we should be good. And another bit of story right now. And yeah, this dude is basically telling me that his team usually does some hill racing, but yeah, now they just went and came into town trying out the expressway. And yeah, this is apparently roulette guy number 1. There are going to be different teams that are quite similar to what we encountered right now, especially when it comes to the AE86 teams. Some of them are at least using the new one as well, so it's not all Corolla 11s and the other thing. And now they are just trying to hit at another guy that I should be beating. Which will, I think, be the next encounter here. Yeah, the calm era is over. Honestly, by being completely over the top, these segments are really well done in my opinion. In terms of presentation, in terms of translation and everything. Cheesy as hell. But also kinda neat in their own regard. Anyways. Oh, I can finally choose a new title. So depending on my driving style and how my win to loss ratio and everything is, I can sometimes choose a new name. In Zero, the new name was just given to you and you had to accept it. Now I can either stay the newcomer or I can become Full Throttle Swallow. Which sounds a bit weird, but sure. As I mentioned with the handling, there isn't much of a reason to step off the gas, and I had 3 different types of title during my entire playthrough before. It was either something newcomer, loser because I had some really bad loss streaks sometimes, or Full Throttle and then some other term behind it. Nothing else. Zero was a bit more varied with that kind of stuff, but yeah, as it is right now, bit of a different story. Anyways, let's get back onto track. There's actually another guy to beat here. I still have to beat that team and then also this person over here. Eternal Polaris. And hey, they are actually right here, right in front of me when I come out of this on-ramp. So might as well try. And this is the boss that should open up a lot of things here, and especially giving me access to a few more tuning parts. So that's what I'm waiting on right now. Once we get those parts, we might actually invest in some optical upgrades, a bit of cosmetics. But yeah, right now it's me more saving up the money in order to get the stuff that I need. Although with me being at almost 2 million out of 3 million that I can possibly have right now, maybe I should soon invest into the wallet perk so that I don't go over my maximum. Because then the additional money is just going to be lost, and that's kinda not what you really want. Alright. Skyline R33. And yeah, with that thing having 280 horsepower by default, I don't see what my chance in this could be, but I mean, it's not like I have many upgrades left for this car. I could theoretically get a better power unit, so the main engine upgrade, but I am more inclined to try keep my money and maybe go for a few losses, see if that's necessary. Surely that dude is gonna break at some point. Please. Ah, there we go. Brake lights, that's what you love to see. Finally catching up. I hope it's gonna be enough. At least we are not losing any longer. Now it's just about trying to win. And just like that, I'm in the lead. Slowly inching my way forward and finally doing some damage to that person's health bar. And there we are. 700k, so yeah, I need to spend some money soon because otherwise I'm going to go over. And yeah, the driver who stepped out the Skyline was a young girl. Shocker. Women can drive too, who would have thought? That was sarcastic if you don't catch it, I mean. Should be pretty obvious, hopefully. And yeah, she tried to talk to me, but just couldn't. And then she ran away. So let's see, we should be able to get more upgrades now if we go to the perk menu. Tuning. Just gonna spend the point on this one right now. And yeah, here we go. 3 more points. I need to get a few more in order to buy anything more than this. But yeah, there's now level 2 intake, level 2 exhaust, and we can go up to level 3 for our power unit. Let's just expand our wallet at the same time, just in case. Also, yeah, the additional notification popping up, not really necessary in my opinion. Also takes a moment. And in terms of notifications in this game, the game is kind of annoying in my opinion. For example, the reference tab here. This is where you can check back on all the different guys that you've beaten. You can see, yeah, a little summary of everybody's profile and all of that. And in order to clear any of the notifications, you actually have to get into detail so that you can see the guy's car. I mean, it's nice that we can do that, but I don't like having notifications on this other little glowing thing there, telling me that there's something new. So while it's neat that we can actually look at all the stuff, it's kinda a bit overdone here, and it's still not done with me for some reason. Now it gave up. Yeah, I don't know. I can see this being useful for some cases, but overall, most of the stuff that we get here is from people that we've beaten already, so it's not that big of a deal. And yeah, right now there are 216 profiles or other drivers on the road. So this is what the game has right now. TXR Zero had 400, and it's said that we are going to get a lot more. And I mean said in SAID, so it's promised that we are getting more. I'm not sad that we are getting more, because that's something that I'm really looking forward to. But yeah, anyways, we can now tune up the car a little bit more. Only the power unit so far, and I mean that should really just be called engine. Again, some of the stuff here is weird. Like calling the standard parts genuine. Yeah, it's a genuine brake, it's a genuine body. Stock, default, what's another term? There's another word that could be used there, but genuine doesn't really sound right. But I could just call it stock or something. But again, for a lot of the words here, it feels like they went to Google Translate just looking for the different terms and didn't have enough of a frame of reference in order to really figure out the best one, or the most fitting one at that point. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, that's fair enough. English is their second language, so it's not even... it's not equally taught all over the world. In some areas, like in Germany, it's decently well taught in school. That happens very early on for quite a long time, so people, at least at this point, should get decent education in that language. In other countries, it's not the same. I don't know what it is for Asia in general, or especially in Japan at this point, or in this case. So they might not get it for that many years, it might not be that important for them, and for games like this it just then, yeah, suffers a bit due to that. Maybe they could hire some external translating team. Then again, I know from a few other games where it didn't really work out as well with translation to German or something like that. But yeah, as it is right now, I think that's something that really needs to be ironed out as well. Because that could make a few things a bit more clear and easier to understand. Another example, usually would call this upgrade and this one tuning, because you are tuning your upgrades, but the settings here really are not game settings, but settings of your car. Like, I adjusted my final drive ratio the other time. So this is what that is. So a few things are a bit unusual. You can get used to it, but I think it would be better if the game just had the same kind of terminology as other games in the genre. But yeah, let's see. I think the last thing I need to do is beat a few more of these guys. Let's see how many are left. 2 of them, and 1 is not even on the course. So I guess I'm gonna have to get out there 2 more times. And then deal with the team leader and all of that. And you know what? Maybe that's something that I should be doing off screen, so... Or... You know what, we are going to do this one today. The next one in the other episode after that. And then we should also be able to talk a bit more about the map, because that will open up after that point. There are a few differences to TXR Zero with how things are being handled there. A notable difference is, and I can show you guys that on the map right now, in TXR Zero there is a whole alternative route through this area. It starts over here, then goes through, I think, this little spare area right here, comes around here and then connects back to this point. There's also usually then another connection right here to get back to that thing there. And that's just an alternative route that's open from the get-go. Right now in this game it isn't present at all. And that's a bit of a shame in my opinion, because I really liked the other part. Actually, it's those ramps that you can see right behind me. That's where you would either come onto that part or off from it. So yeah, that's a notable omission from this game. And I would hope for it to come back, but it would also need another change for the game in order for that to make sense at all. And I think that's something better talked about in the next episode, because then I should be able to demonstrate. Because it has something to do with how the opponents react when you have multiple routes to choose from. Basically, each battle can be won, lost, or end in a draw. And draw happens if one guy chooses another route from the other one, and that used to work differently. You know what, while at it, why not give you guys the full story now? I can show you next episode, but yeah, let's quickly go through it. Basically, in the other games, the other opponents had their set route. Usually they would go around either this loop that I'm doing right now, or around one of the other loops, but they basically are not continuous like this one. It would mean that eventually they would come through this area, and they would then choose the fastest connection to get back onto their home turf. And if you were doing a battle with them, but you were actually in front of them, then you could choose where to go, and they would simply follow you, because they don't want to lose. It would only ever end in a draw if you are behind them and you are going the wrong direction. Or if for some reason the other guy was being pushed into the wrong lane and made to go the wrong direction like that. So, yeah. Right now with how it works is basically the game telling you, hey, your opponent is going to take the other route, and that's how that's going to work. Oh, I'm actually doing the boss battle right now. Guess that was the last guy missing from the team. So, yeah, with that being said, as it is right now, getting back the other route, I think it's called Yezu or something like that. Or Yaeso. It's easier for me to spell them than to try and pronounce them. It's Y-A-E-S-U. For that to come back and make any sense, they would have to go back to the old system, which honestly I preferred. With the old system, if you were not able to beat any guy on the long straightaway through Wangan and all of that, or Wangan. Once again, I don't know the correct pronunciation. At least you could try and lure them onto a more curvy part of the road and try to beat them there. It was kind of a required tactic at some point. And yeah, we are back at one of the parking lots. And we are getting another interaction here from a man with striking features. And yeah, that guy is giving me some introduction to Phantom 9, which is a major team of people who are trying to, I don't know, be a bit like a boss team. And yeah, he's being a bit cocky, trying to talk down to me on my driving skill and everything, and my reputation. But I think this is also the end of the first real phase here. So let's see. Return of the Bastards. And to be clear, those episodes were Rebirth of a Legend, I don't know what was the other one, Rise of New Racers or whatever. They are happening at the same time. It's basically 3 different storylines that are going through the same phases simultaneously. So if I try to enter the course now, yeah, I still need to beat the last boss, and then we should be able to access everything else here. But we are going to do that next episode. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Until next time, have a good one and bye bye.